Good evening, guys. It's Saturday, September 2nd. My name is Dave Coker, and this is Talking About Finance. And hello, team. Team Wealth, Team Cash Flow, Team Gotta Get Paid. Hello and welcome. Thanks for hanging out this evening while we talk about money. And we talk not just about any kind of money, but the most profound kind of money there is. Free money. Yes, you can have some free money, but you have to start with a little capital, a little money, and just make sure you invest it only in assets that pay you to own them. We're talking dividend-paying stocks, dividend-paying ETFs, high-yield bonds, and rental property. That's all you need, that and the will to invest regularly regardless of price changes, and reinvest all cash flow into additional assets that pay you to own them. That's how I achieved financial independence in 2002 while I was still working for Deutsche Bank. And you can do it too. All you need is the will, a little capital, and time. Because building wealth takes time. How long, I'm often asked? 5 to 10 years. That should do it, as long as you stick to our plan. And if you'd like to read more about this, go to Google News, enter Dave Coker. You'll find no shortage of articles I've written and distributed about making money, about achieving financial independence. All this stuff is free, as it should be. You just need a little risk capital and time. But you can do it. And enough of this. Let's talk about finance. The S&P 500 closed the week up about 2.5%. 5 sectors outperformed the S&P 500: information technology, energy, materials, communication services, and consumer discretionary. 6 sectors underperformed the S&P 500, specifically industrials, financials, real estate, healthcare, and 2 book losses also underperforming the S&P 500. Consumer staples and utilities. Oh, and I changed the presentation a little bit here, guys. If you're curious, I'm trying to automate everything because I am really lazy. So I got this up and running. This looks pretty good, so I think we'll run with this from now. But regardless, now that August, the unpleasantness that was the 8th month of the year, is behind us, how about September? Well, we generally see underperformance in September, but who knows? This year might be different. It's a very, very odd year in the markets. We're still looking out for volatility here. And as I said before, build up some cash. I certainly am, because something is going to happen. The VIX traded down to 13.09. It opened the week at 17.10. The 10-year note closed the week at 4.18%. It's down 10 basis points on the week and up about 30 basis points year to date. Oil closed the week at 85.92. It's up about 7.6% on the week and up about 7.1% year to date. And looks like the Saudis are going to continue to cut back on production. Whatever happened to Mr. Biden's plan to refill America's strategic oil reserves? Didn't happen. Oh, and yes. I did buy Bitcoin this week, but not on Friday. I was testing a new payment mechanism, and yes, I bought Bitcoin. In fact, I bought it twice this week. There's a little bit of stuff going on with my crypto provider, and long story short, I just want to use Apple Pay. So I was getting that set up as opposed to doing bank transfers, and it's all working. But you tell me you're not buying Bitcoin. The question I got for you is why? Guys, we've already mined 93% of all Bitcoin that's out there. There's only another 7% left to go. So my advice as always is just buy Bitcoin. Repeat it every week, every month, every quarter, whatever works for you. But now, let's find out what me and my buddies, some 50 or so finance professionals from all around the planet, talked about last week. And I am such a savage. I have totally forgotten the proper British manners I've learned living here in the UK. Let me properly introduce us. We are Global Wall Street. And between Telegram and our personal networks on LinkedIn and WhatsApp, we know everybody in finance, in global finance. Absolutely everyone, anyone is just one or two connections away. We're pretty amazed sometimes how close we are to Jamie Dimon, to Bryony Moynihan. It's actually pretty interesting. And this week, of course, we're on Wall Street. We're also in the city of London. We're reporting from San Francisco. Someone from Frankfurt has chimed in. And we're also in Hong Kong. We have people everywhere, absolutely everywhere that matters. So let's go. 7 slides for 7 days. Oh, yes, it's true. If this was a job, I would absolutely love it. And this is interesting, guys, because, for a long time, the secular trend with stocks in the United States is that they only go up. I tend to think over a long period of time that will continue. It doesn't mean we won't see some harsh corrections along the way, but yes, over a long enough horizon, we should see stocks continue to go up. Let's take a look back at what happened year to date so far with the S&P 500 and with developing nations. And America is really kicking butt here. Generally, we expect to see faster growth in developing nations, but look at these stock markets. S&P 500 up 17.4% as of the close of August. And yet we see Taiwan, Brazil, South Korea, iShares India, all these underperforming the S&P 500. And China, they got their problems. I tend to think they're temporary. But yeah, actually lost money in the Chinese markets. And you got to be aware, guys, before you deploy capital, you really want to know why you're putting money into certain assets. Flashy is dangerous, as we say. Guys, don't be distracted by names. Take a look at the fundamentals of the stocks that you're thinking of investing in. And only once you're comfortable with these fundamentals, buy the stock. Don't get distracted by flashy name stocks, things like that. It's all going to end in tears. Speaking of which, I'd like to know who buys this garbage. I've been writing a lot, you can find it on Google News, about this company called VinFast, a Vietnamese manufacturer of electric vehicles. And look at this thing. It came out of the gate with a market cap of roughly 70 billion, 69 billion. Fell after the first article I wrote, dropped to about 35 billion, or that's when I wrote the first article. But recently it soared. Now it's got a market cap of 191 billion. Compare it to Ford. Compare it to GM. They're closing in on Toyota, which is roughly 201 billion. Absolutely incredible for a company that really hasn't made money and hasn't delivered the same number of cars at all as Toyota. And guys, I've talked about this before. The markets, everything moves in cycles. So yeah, this guy's got an interesting blog, an interesting YouTube channel. You might want to check it out. And I do fully expect, and I've written articles about it, that inflation's not going to drop in a straight line. We expect to see it come back. Certainly happened the last time we had to deal with high inflation in the 70s. We saw several waves of inflation. So yes, I do expect it to come back. And here's a good one. Now, of course, we had some news about Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust during the week, and Forbes came out with this cover article or headline story. I really hope they're not a contrary indicator. It doesn't matter. As you know, I've been buying Bitcoin every week since 2014. I've been dollar cost averaging Bitcoin every week since 2014. You do need to start buying Bitcoin. If you're not buying it weekly, doesn't matter. Buy it monthly. Buy it quarterly. Even buy it once a year. Just buy it. Put some money into Bitcoin, guys. As I was saying before, 93% of all the available Bitcoins, that's 21 million, by the way, have already been mined. They're already in the hands of people. They're sitting on my wallet. They're sitting in the wallets of other people. There's only 7% left. And we're hearing talk about Bitcoin ETFs. Well, if you're going to run an ETF, you need to have the product. Think about the impact on the price of Bitcoin if we do see approval of an ETF. And I think that's why I didn't read the Forbes article, although I subscribe to Forbes. I'll have to check the article out. But yeah, I think that's why they were saying that you should start to dollar cost average Bitcoin. And a lot of times people tell me they're waiting for Bitcoin to go down before they buy. Now, here, I can't recall who did this. I think a Dutch gal put it in the channel. I'm not sure who put it in the channel, actually, by the way. But what we're seeing here, we were talking about for a few days, we're seeing Bitcoin and we're seeing the various halvings that took place. And guys, you can see each one of the halvings is dated. We expect another halving to come up shortly. And you can see here what's going on with prices, how we're actually hitting these peaks in these local cycles. What's the secular trend of the price of Bitcoin overall? You don't see it mean revert. You certainly don't see it going down below a penny. You see drops? Yeah, without a doubt. We've seen drops before. It just doesn't drop that much. It never really goes down that much. Why? Because the supply is limited. There'll only be 21 million. And every 10 minutes they print more, and those coins are promptly bought up. Think about it, guys. Just put a little money into Bitcoin. That's it, guys, for this evening. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. It's going to be a fantastic week. Remember, New York is closed Monday. Keep your eye on Asian and European action to gain insight of what will happen with New York on Monday. Since yesterday was the first business day of the month, yes, you are correct. I did buy stocks. I used other people's money. I used dividends that accrued in August to buy a boatload of stocks in September. You really have to get to this point, guys, where your wealth, your investments compound. And all you do is take the money and you buy more dividend-paying assets. It's the only way to live. Take care, guys.